Hello, my name is Peter Vang, and this is an informational presentation on censorship and information filtering in China. The purpose of this presentation is to inform viewers of the ongoing censorship issues in China, which directly affects its government, citizens, and economy. Now that I have introduced myself and my purpose, I will begin. China first began censoring information in the 90s and began a chain of laws that will shape the current internet filtering systems that exist today. They enforce rules and regulations that will limit what kind of information will be available to citizens. Although China is not the only country that censors information, it has one of the most refined systems, thus earning the name the Great Firewall of China. The system is best described as, rather than using a single filtering mechanism, China employs a complex system of laws, technology, and human oversight that effectively controls the web content available to users within China. Although users in the United States still outnumber those in China, the average Chinese user spends 14 to 19 hours per week online, compared with 7 to 10 hours in the United States, according to internet polls. In 2007, a survey says that there were 162 million internet users in China. That number increased to 573 million in 2012, and now it is up to 700 million. These numbers can be seen in this bar graph. There are three methods of information filtering. The first one is packet dropping. This is described as all traffic to specific Internet Protocol addresses is discarded and the content hosted there becomes inaccessible. The second one is domain name system. Anytime the system is consulted to translate a textual host name into a numeric IP address, either no answer is returned or an incorrect answer is given that leads the user to a generic site. The last one is content inspection. The proxy server filters the content by refusing to return results containing forbidden material. These systems can be made extremely precise. The Great Firewall of China is described as a filtering system that denies access to information to internet users. The system works by blocking with resets and applications to other Chinese networks. The design is very complex and many researchers have trouble breaking down the entire process. Information about the system is very secretive and only higher authorities know. To sum it up, an article says, the People's Republic of China operates an internet filtering system which is widely considered to be one of the most sophisticated in the world. The list of information that are censored are content that divulges state secrets, that subverts the government, opposes the state's policy on religion, advocates cults or feudal superstitions, disrupts the social order or shows obscenity, pornography, gambling, or violence. Social media sites are often a victim of information filtering. A survey says an average of approximately 13% of all social media posts are censored. The information systems have created patterns and algorithms to effectively neutralize the online posts that citizens use. Another article says website administrators employ automated programs and thousands of human sensors to screen content generated by the users and delete posts that cross the lines defined by the CCP directives. Oftentimes, social media sites develop keywords that are recognized in the system and those posts do not get published. Blogs also get filtered a lot. Blogging is one of the tools available to many online users, although it doesn't necessarily mean that their ideas will get shared. This became very popular in China in 2004 as the amount of internet users were beginning to increase. Blogging got so popular that the Chinese government had to set rules and regulations to restrict this trend. Blogging is often recognized as users sharing thoughts about anything that they wish, but this is not the case in China. Since citizens cannot publicly express their dissatisfaction, they choose to do this online, but even this is not possible due to the severe restrictions placed on websites. Internet chat rooms and electronic bulletin systems have even been considered dangerous. An article says journalists and ordinary citizens who present a perspective that is in conflict with state propaganda directives face harassment, dismissal, and abuse, while news outlets that carry such material risk closure. This is also supported by Under Chinese law, these companies are responsible for all the content that users post and must ensure that it doesn't violate subverting state power, damaging the honor of the state, disrupting social stability, and the like. To avoid losing the required licenses of all internet companies that host content in China have departments dedicated to monitoring and deleting problematic material. There have been arrests of certain individuals who ignored and did not follow these rules. There are levels to the seriousness of punishment that companies can get. This is why they often create systems so that they do not need to worry about the issues that can arise. Citizens can also get punished for not being careful. For example, a famous social media website called Weibo has developed a point system for users. This is more thoroughly explained as users will start with a total of 80 points, and each recorded infraction will lead to a point deduction from the user's account. Once the user has reached 60 points, a low credit warning appears on his or her microblog, which restricts certain features. This can be undone after a 2-month probation period, after which the full 80 points can be restored for good behavior. If there are more infractions during the probation period, the user faces expulsion from the site, perhaps permanently. The system almost serves as a guideline to users to watch what they post because they are always under strict supervision from the government. It is also very easy for individuals to be tracked because they could simply be found through the IP address of a computer. With this in mind, they are warned to not store or publish any kind of information that would be frowned upon. The Chinese government accuses Google of simply looking for profit by exposing them to the public. They said that Google is not properly censoring their information, causing problems to arise. Their response is, quote, Google defends itself, however, by arguing that it has to remove some content from the search results available on Google in response to local law, regulation, and policy. In addition, it explains that while removing search results is inconsistent with Google's mission, providing no information or heavily degraded user experience that amounts to no information is more inconsistent with this mission. One wants information freedom for all, while the other objects the idea. In the end, Google entered China in 2006 and left in 2010. There are numerous opinions about how Google handled this situation. Some say that Google should have fought back and its loyal users were not only angry but also felt betrayed due to their departure, although they boasted global information freedom. Google agreed to censor the information before entering the country, so others say they are confused to why Google did not do so and created conflict. However, positive opinions were that someone was finally standing up to China and their negative views about information freedom. They also complimented Google on their stance and how they left China because if they could not accept the way they did their business, they would just leave. Companies such as YouTube or Amazon does not exist. China has created their own companies which are fairly similar. For example, YouTube is Youku and Amazon is Dang Dang. Popular social media sites like Facebook and Twitter are also excluded from China. China has developed their own companies to replace the ones that don't exist because of their difference in views. Even Google has been replaced with a website called Baidu, and this website has become the fourth most visited website in the world. Compared to the West, the Chinese are much more focused on social media and their sites gain popularity fairly quick. This has created very large name companies to begin thriving. The companies also lead to many individuals earning more jobs, thus strengthening the economy overall. Also, it seems that users prefer their own Chinese versions instead of global versions because the language filter is much more accurate. Some companies are also discouraged to go into China. An example of this is foreign organizations that have struggled to deliver their website and content into and across China recognize the inconsistent performance of the country's internet. Because of limited peering points, fragmented networks, and the PRC government managed firewall, many internet initiatives are plagued by slow website pages and application downloads, failed websites, and application timeouts. Also, companies have to get a Bayon license, which gives them permission to create a website. This can take 1 to 12 months, and then an additional 3 to 6 months for the process. Afterwards, they must also censor information and follow the rules and regulations that have been set by the Chinese government. Other countries have wanted to help China with their censorship issues. For example, SafeWeb, which was partially funded by CIA, ran an anonymity providing web proxy between 2000 and 2003. In conjunction with SafeWeb, developed an anti-censorship technique dubbed Triangle Boy. More recently, the Canadian-based project launched in late 2006 aims to permit citizens in uncensored countries to provide unfettered access to the net through their home computers to friends and family members who live behind firewalls of states that censor. There have also been encryption services available to users who do not have access to information. These servers are directly linked to users outside of China who can help translate this information. Users have even gone so far as to hack the very system meant to suppress them. An example of this is where hackers breaking into China's internet systems put up humiliating messages on the websites owned by the Chinese party states. There have been many movements to try and break through the Great Firewall of China. Some researchers believe that China's censorship may one day come to an end due to the advancement of technology and the increasing amount of internet users that they have. They also include that even filtering systems will soon begin to have trouble with the vast amount of users. Small rural areas in China have also begun gaining access to the internet. However, China has constantly been keeping up with the growing numbers, so no one knows when this will ever change. At first glance, many see the internet as a tool for users to connect and interact with others internationally. However, it is also a tool that individuals use to gain knowledge and educate themselves, so I also believe that it should be available to users globally. This is the end of my presentation, and I hope you have all enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.